Assalamualaikum and good day everyone, especially to you ma'am. In this video, I will tackle about indigenous sciences and technology in the Philippines. This lesson focuses on the indigenous science and technology in the Philippines. Filipinos, especially during the early times, tried to invent tools that will help them in everyday life. They also develop alternative ideas in explaining the world around them. This system of knowledge is called indigenous knowledge, which is the foundation of indigenous sciences. What is indigenous knowledge system? Indigenous knowledge system is embedded in the daily life of experiences of young children as they grow up. They live and grow in the society where the members of the community prominently practice indigenous knowledge. Their parents and other older folks serve as their first teacher, and their method of teaching are very effective in transmitting cultural knowledge in their minds. Indigenous knowledge help to meet the broader objective of society. For instance, conserving the environment, developing sustainable agriculture, and ensuring food security, while its protection encourages the maintenance of traditional practices and lifestyle. Also can refers the knowledge belonging to a specific ethnic group and encompasses all forms of knowledge of technology to know how skills, practices, and beliefs that enable the community to achieve stable livelihood in our environment. These are some examples of indigenous talents that are taught and practiced by indigenous people. Number 1. Predicting weather conditions and season using knowledge in observing animals' behavior and celestial bodies. Communities commonly use a combination of biological, celestial, and climate indicators to predict the weather and climate, including the behavior of plants and animals, such as the strength and direction of winds, the color of the sky, and the appearance of the clouds, the sun, and the star. Number 2. Using herbal medicine. In indigenous, the plants used in herbal medicines have been found to carry their own inbuilt mechanism. Number 3. Preserving foods. By preserving foods, households ensure food security without jeopardizing future food consumption. Number 4. Classifying plants and animals into families and groups based on cultural properties. Number 5. Preserving and selecting good seeds for planting. Selection of seeds are very important because seeds are responsible for the growth of a new plant. Seeds must be good so it will grow into a plant, otherwise we will not get the result. Number 6. Using indigenous technology in daily lives. Indigenous technology is used by the native inhabitants of a country or region, and it constitutes an important part of its cultural heritage. Number 7. Building local irrigation system. In areas that have irregular precipitation, irrigation improves crop growth and quality. Number 8. Classifying different types of soil for planting based on cultural properties. Indigenous soil classification are based on soil texture, soil color, and the presence of other easily observable features in the field. Number 9. Producing wine and juices from tropical fruits. Grapes are the most common fruit used as raw material for alcoholic fermentation. Number 10. Keeping the custom of growing plants and vegetables in the yard. Vegetables keep our body running efficiently, protecting us from chronic diseases such as heart disease and cancer. What is indigenous science? Indigenous science is a part of indigenous knowledge system practiced by different groups of people in early civilization. It includes complex arrays of knowledge, expertise, practices, and representation that guide human societies and their innumerable interaction with the natural millennium. Agriculture, medicine, naming and explaining natural phenomena, and strategies for coping with changing environment mean that the body of traditional environment and cultural knowledge unique to a group of people which has served to sustain the people through generations of living within a distinct bioregion. Indigenous belief also develop desirable values that are relevant or consistent to scientific attitude. Number 1. Motivating attitude. Practices of motivating people by influencing their thoughts and behavior. Number 2. Cooperating attitude. It influences a person's desire and willingness to cooperate and produces an emotional response. Number 3. Practical attitude. Making a sensible decision and choices. Number 4. Reflective attitude. Willingness to think about things that we don't understand. In indigenous science, there have three characteristics. First, use science process and skills. Second, guided by community culture and values. Third, composed of traditional knowledge. Indigenous science uses science process skills such as observing, communicating, classifying, inferring, measuring, and predicting. In observing, good observation are essential in learning the other science process skills. Communicating, it is important to be able to share on experience. Classifying, important to create order to help comprehend the number of objects, events, and living things in the world. Inferring is a link between what is observed and what is already known. Measuring help us classify and communicate with others. Predicting, it is an educated guess based on good observation and inferences about an observed event or prior knowledge. Second, in the characteristic of indigenous science is guided by culture and community values such as the following. The land is a source of life. It is a precious gift from Creator. Meaning, land is an essential natural resource both for the survival and prosperity of humanity and for the maintenance of all terrestrial ecosystem. Letter B. The earth is revered as Mother Earth. It is the ongoing of their identity as people. As we know, we call our earth as Mother Earth because earth is only planet where life can exist. As life exists means the home place where you born, where you grow, where you eat, and where you play. Earth is the only one mother of all living organisms who give us everything we need. Letter C. All living and non-living things are interconnected and interdependent with each other. Meaning the living things is an ecosystem are interdependent. This means that living things depend on their interactions with each other and also non-living things for survival. For example, a tree depends on sunlight for energy and food. Letter D. Human beings are stewards or trustee of the land and natural resources. It is a theological belief that humans are responsible for the world and should take care and look after it. Letter A, they have a responsibility to preserve it. Mean this is not luxury as well, but is goal to protect society. Letter F, nature is a friend to human being. It needs respect and proper care. This means the fundamental relationship between human and nature is the ongoing exchange and change of resources. The service nature and human provide to each other. We must tend to consume as if there is an unlimited supply of resources, but we live in a world of non-renewable resources. Third characteristic of indigenous science is indigenous science is composed of traditional knowledge practiced and valued by people and communities such as ethnobiology, ethnomedicine, indigenous farming methods, and folk astronomy.